Consistency. That's the name of the game when it comes to Pokemon Auto Chess. It's also extremely difficult to be a consistent player in this game because of how dynamic it can be. I tend to bounce around in ELO a lot. 1213 on May 11th, then up 100 ELO to 1310 on May 13th, and back down to 1244 on May 19th with whatever this team was supposed to be. Which would have been cool if I was win streaking and could hit 9, but clearly I wasn't. And sometimes you just have days like this. The best players in this game are the best not only due to their wealth of game knowledge, but due to their consistency in executing their game plans and adapting to what the board gives them. You see a lot of the same players at the top of the leaderboard for this reason, and if you scroll through their game history, you'll see some amazing consistency. The number one player at the time of this video, Artificial is Fun, has only dropped below 1400 ELO a single time in the last month. So how can I become a more consistent Pokemon Auto Chess player? Well, like any other competitive environment, you need to VOD review and critique your decision making. I decided that I was just going to throw myself into a 1250 lobby and win or lose, analyze my play. And let's just say this game went way better than I expected. Stage 4 immediately presents us with an interesting decision, an egg carousel. The price drop to 7 gold from 10 gold does make this carousel more enticing as you can actually retain a bit of your economy, but I ultimately decide not to pick one up. I have Pokemon in a region that is leaning me towards Flora, so I don't want to commit to a hatch Pokemon when none of them are Flora. My initial thought is to just lose streak through the early game. My board is okay, my items are a little all over the place. You always want to scout your opponents on turn 4 to ensure that you can win or lose streak, so that's my next play. And there's actually a lot of weak teams that, because I have an Evo in my shop, I should be able to beat. The best slam out of my current items is a Green Orb and Razor Claw, so I get that in just before the fight starts. I would have liked a Scope Lens if I'm going to run crit, but you can't always wait around on items if you're trying to win streak. I match into a baby team and win easily. Presented with a big choice for the ad pick. I think the black glasses are the better item, especially if I'm trying to build crit, but if I'm playing Grass Flora, then Petalil is a unit that will be on my board the entire game. The charcoal is still very usable, so I go for the synergies instead, which I think is the correct choice here. Upon scouting, I know Monty has a Soul Dew, Protective Pads War Turtle, which could be a problem. I move my Florigato over to avoid the Hydro Pump cast just in case I pull that matchup. I do make one error here though, as I should have replaced Charmander with Floette to activate Flora 3. I do match up into Monty, and although my thought with Florigato is correct, my board is still pretty clumped up for those War Turtle casts. Florigato tops it off by walking in front of War Turtle and gets blasted by a Hydro Pump anyways. While not adding in Flora 3 was a mistake, I don't think it would have swung this battle, and I'm thinking that this is the only early game team I lose to. This time I do make the decision to activate Flora 3, which gives me an extra unit in Hoppip and allows me to start building up Flora stacks. My positioning almost screws me over here, as Florigato walks right up to the Herdier. Luckily for me, the Green Orb and Grass Healing allow it to stay healthy enough to get a cast off, absolutely nukes this team for 300 damage. The Muscle Band wasn't able to get stacked, and somehow Florigato walks away, but I definitely can't let that kind of positioning slide again. So I don't. Florigato gets tucked in behind Petalil so it can avoid hits. This team is playing a Ditto on the field on stage 7, so it's a pretty easy wipe for me. The game has really been pushing crit onto me, but having just a charcoal makes these glasses a riskier pick since I don't really want 2 Razor Claws. I think the Magnet is a safer pick here, but roll with the calculated risk of the glasses. I think it would be pretty crazy if I didn't see another Water, Magnet, or Spoon the rest of the game. I match into another baby team for the PvP battle, so it's an easy wipe for me. I head into Gyarados very, very healthy. I also pull a Badoo, which is a crazy unit to natural this early in the game. I'm able to get a couple of Flora stacks, and Gyarados gives me my 3rd black glasses of the game, so it's definitely crit time, and the Magnet was probably the better pick. I'm able to squeeze into a Flora portal and get Carnivine as my unique, who can be a pretty solid mid-game carry with the correct setup. Bye bye Florigato, hello Carnivine. I am lacking some useful items here, which is mostly through fault of my own and prioritizing items weirdly, but I'm in a good position to be able to hold off a bit. The real error comes by not pushing to level 6 here. I have a Turtwig on my bench, which would give me Grass 5 and Monster 2, which is a huge buff to have Carnivine carry my mid-game. Also, I'm currently on a win streak, and maintaining that win streak is very important. Any extra interest lost by leveling would be made up through the win streak. So I head into battle against a team who did tempo level 6. Team holds up for a bit, and Carnivine picks up 1 knockout, 2 knockouts, 3 knockouts, 4 knockouts, which would have been great if I had Monster 2 active. Because of my lack of aggression, I lose a very winnable fight and my win streak goes away. At the ad pick, I get my choice of crit item between Reaper Cloth and Scope Lens. After quickly scouting, I see a few sound splashes, so I decide not to add the best sound tank in the game. I net myself a Reaper Cloth, which quickly goes on to Carnivine. Then, I decide to level up to 6 to get the better synergies that I should have activated last fight. And this time, I match into Baby 7, so that level up wasn't crucial to winning this round like it would have been last round. Anyways, moving on from my leveling blunder, I'm presented with a choice to complete my crit cast set. Magnet is the ideal option, but there is a water that I could grab too. The water and one magnet get taken, and then I get super pump faked by the Necrozma, who grabs an ice instead, leaving me with the magnet. Carnivine has gotten a huge power spike in the last couple rounds, and with a bunch of extra healing from Grass 5 and Green Orb, it's able to stomp this fight quickly. An itemless Rotom means it isn't a huge threat, and while Clang has a big attack stat with that XP share, Carnivine shows it who's boss this round. Learning from my mistake last time, I decided to push to 7 now. I'm winning again and have an evolved unit waiting on my bench. I flip my team after a quick scout because I want Carnivine to stay beside the Green Orb and hopefully I can keep the War Turtle from targeting it. Fight begins and Carnivine targets the Rocky Helmet Mousehold, which is pretty bad for the crit items. My front line is melting pretty quickly, but the War Turtle cast stays away from Carnivine. The Aquatic Wave does me a huge favor here as Carnivine is pushed off of Mousehold and gets a knockout on Goomy to start its monster stacking. Then Mousehold goes down and it's a wrap from here. Carnivine goes target to target, taking them all out. Mewduo goes down easily, and I pick up a Miracle Seed. I have damage already, so I need to start getting some tank items for my front line because it is still very lacking. It's time for Dolly to go, as the unit can just be replaced with Spirit Gatito to play the same role, but with an extra bump of Flora synergy. Unit quality wise, this Dragon team definitely beats me with all these evolved units. Item wise though, I'm feeling a lot more confident. And with no Rocky Helmet to reduce critical hit damage, Carnivine starts punching through quickly. Turtonator doesn't have the time to get a Muscle Band stacked up, as a Carnivine cast nukes it. My Flora units are all jumping in to take aggro off of Carnivine, as it 1v2s the Fracture and Tangrowth. Seadra goes down last, and look at that Carnivine damage. I scoot my team to the left a couple spaces to try to keep Carnivine out of range of the Lotties. This is a Dragon 7 Psychic 6 team, so those casts are strong. The weakness of my front line is really starting to show now though, and so that reposition doesn't really do anything. I grab an ice to potentially make a max revive to help my front line, but I decide that since I'm still so healthy that I can wait for my items from Lugia and Ho-Oh before committing any of them. One max revive wasn't changing the outcome of the last fight, so I'm going to trust in the strength of Carnivine to grab some more wins. The units are weak still, but Sound 6 is still Sound 6 and can get out of control quickly. Fracture and Brion are lighting up the damage board with crazy numbers quickly, but Carnivine is able to pick off the weak units to get stacked up. On top of the grass healing, it never drops below half HP and is able to pull this fight out with essentially no damage contribution from the rest of the team. I'm very close to level 8, but decide to stay at 50 gold. I can't hit a synergy bump or have a fight changing unit to put in anyways. I scout, and the team I should be going against has fodder units for Carnivine, so I'm trusting it once again. And this trust pays off. Cranidos and Primplup walk up to Carnivine, who takes them out with ease. Then, Dratini goes out. Carnivine turns its attention to Dracovish, whose muscle band hasn't been able to get stacked up. It goes down, then Celio, and finally Snorunt. I'm rolling into my legendary pick with 76 HP, which gives me plenty of time to shape up my late game team. I hit level 8, evolve Gloom into Vileplume, and then take out Ho-Oh and Lugia, who give me a Miracle Seed and Mystic Water. For whatever reason, I prioritized the Grass Portal, and watching back, I think I just didn't realize that I had a Floral Portal directly in front of me, with the pink blending in with the sound icon. That would have been a better choice though, as I either pick up Xerneas, or I pick up a guaranteed Grass Flora unit. But I pull a lucky Celebi, who almost certainly guarantees me a good placing in this match with its passive player healing. I sadly have to say goodbye to Carnivine, but Celebi is going to make great use out of those crit items. I also commit to a second Green Orb and a max revive for my front line. It's still pretty lacking, but I just got a huge boost in healing, so hopefully that can help until I can get some more tank items. My goal now is to hit level 9 for the guaranteed Grass 7 Flora 6 combination. Grass is a team that wants to stall out a fight and scale its HP into being unkillable. Unfortunately for me, there is one better comp at scaling: Sound. And a very well set up Sound team with a rare candy from Baby 7 is going to be extremely difficult for me to beat at this point in the game. And I don't. But I did get 2 extra HP from Celebi. My team not having Grass 7 active means I can still be pretty weak at this stage, especially with a bad front line. The max revive is able to stall out for a bit of time, and Superior having a Flame Orb means it is on a timer. Celebi is pumping out damage and healing, and my evolved Flora units are jumping in to even up this fight. Somehow, Victory Bell and Celebi come out on top of the 4v2, and I win the round with 1200 damage versus 2500 damage, and I get 2 more HP from Celebi. I need more tank items, and this carousel gives me plenty of choices. I grab the power lens to try to give myself some recourse against these sound teams. Well, it doesn't really help. I don't have a great way to break through this Rocky Helmet mousehold, and the sound scaling is too powerful for my team to break through anyways. There's no win with a huge damage difference this time, and I get 2 more HP from Celebi. I'm really playing my HP here and utilizing that big lead that I had to hit level 9 and still have economy left over. There's only one more fight until the legendary birds PvE round, which I'll be level 9 after. That should be a pretty big boost for my team. Another bulky, shieldy team is going to be tough to break through, and I lose about half my units pretty quickly, but get a handful of casts from Celebi that is keeping me topped off on health. At this point, after 3 Celebi casts this round, I've gained 9 extra HP, keeping me in first. I'm working towards my final Floropot evolution and am 1 stage away from level 9 now. The birds honestly put up a crazy good fight against my team, totaling almost 2400 damage, but it went on for so long that Celebi was able to get 3 more casts off for 3 more HP. After the birds go down, I pull 3 items that don't really strengthen my front line, but I take the X-ray vision to put on a future Grookey. I hit 9 and get my Grass 7 buff. Then it's roll down time. My goals are to evolve Badoo and get Grookey, which doesn't really happen before the next fight starts. With Grass 7 active now and a splash of sound on my team, I've hit a really big power spike. Just look at how much better my team holds up. The front line holds up way longer, and the Flora units jumping in really helps to keep Celebi healthy in that corner, alongside some big heals from Celebi to top everyone up. Fight drags on, which is what Grass wants, as the HP scales and scales. Celebi is taking its time, but slowly picking off these units one by one, which is a huge benefit to me as it gets 6 total casts off to bring me up to 44 HP. I have a big lead now to finalize my team. I buy Steenie out of the shop and replace Grottle with it. I think this is a pretty neutral move overall, but Steenie has higher special defense to pair better with the power lens. Then, I match into Swift's sound team again, which goes the same way it has been with these sound teams. The Crocolore starts permacasting and smokes me with nearly 1800 total damage. 2 players lost that round, and I've secured top 3 with 2 more HP from Celebi. Most of these items don't really do anything, but I have the money and don't want to be down an item compared to my opponents, so I grab a protector to help bolster my front line a bit more. After some more rolling, I finally hit Roselia to give me a Grass Flora unit to properly replace Spear Gatito, so I do that and move its items. I still want these items to end up on Grookey, so they'll go on another temporary unit. I make a huge blunder here though and throw in Porygon, losing my Grass 7 synergy. I think I just never realized this between rolling, item management, and evolving my Floropots, that because I was playing Badoo on my board, Roselia is not a 1-to-1 replacement, and I even have extra grass units on my bench I could have used. My front line melts extra fast with the loss of healing, but the green orbs are keeping the backliners healthy. The fight is looking pretty even, with Celebi continuing to hold it down. Superior's flame orb burns it down, but Clang with that XP share is locked onto Celebi and takes it out. In the end, Clang wins a 1v3 on 3 HP, and that's a huge mistake on a match that I should have won, but thanks to all of Celebi's healing, I did have some room for error. 3 casts that round from it, bringing the total up to 23 HP healed. In all the chaos, I was able to find a Grookey while rolling, who immediately replaces Porygon to give me my Grass 7 bump back. I can finally move the Green Orb and X-Ray Vision there. Celebi casts twice for 2 more crucial HP at this stage of the game. I get a Deep Sea Tooth and put that onto Grookey. After my final roll down, this is the final version of my team, and I go into battle against none other than Swift's sound team. Swift's team is flipped, but my units do a great job staying around those green orbs. Let's be honest though, it never mattered. It takes approximately 5 seconds for the Crocolore to be permacasting, and quickly gets to a point where you can't even see what is happening on the board. Celebi got 2 final casts off, but the HP isn't enough to save me this time, as I drop out at 3rd. Wait, at 2nd, as Swift's ghost took out the other player. So in the end, I'm glad my stage 27 blunder with Grass 7 didn't cost me 2nd place, but that's all due to Celebi's healing. I was never beating that sound team with my Grass Flora team, so I'm super happy with 2nd in a very, very good lobby. There were some big mistakes in this game that I can learn from and apply going forward to make myself an even better Pokemon Auto Chess player.